Hi, welcome to All Things Business. You know what I'm saying? Today we got a great episode. We want to talk about some things. It's coming from a gentleman that made a comment on one of my first video. And that's definitely going to part of the reason why I'm making this channel and wanted to start it because business is important. Um and what we do is important. And it's not to be taken lightly. The gentleman had made a comment, and what he said was that OTR Leasing was ripping him off. They was doing him dirty, and I definitely felt his loss. To give you a background on what happened here, and these are the type of bombs and grenades that go off in business. That happens to us all. It can happen to anybody. It definitely early in your career it can, and you want to learn from these kind of situations. So I know I'm going to say some tough things, some things that's going to be hard to want to hear. But for our success out here on the road, running a trucking company, we have to put our big boy pants on. And we got to come with this with the right kind of knowledge, the right attitude, and then that way we will be able to succeed and be better the next go around. Part of the what happened was with this gentleman was that, and hopefully I'm going to be sharing facts, but hopefully he sees the video again, and he can add some more information in there. But I'm only going to speak to the facts, and I'm always only going to bring facts. I don't want to never bring my opinion to anyone about a matter, because my opinion doesn't serve anything. Only facts serve things, and facts is how we are able to achieve the success we're looking for. So the gentleman had stated that he was being done wrong by OTR, and what happened with the gentleman is that he had an accident in his truck before he could complete his lease. He had been owed at about 140 weeks straight with no missed payments. And unfortunately, he had an accident and they totaled out his truck. He had explained and stated that the insurance company came back with I think $36,000 was the value. And that was what they was going to pay out to him, and he only had $9,000 left in payments. Now, I definitely understood where he was coming from, because I think in our natural mindset, we're going to look at that and think, okay, man, they're going to take the $9,000, they're going to give me the rest, and then I'll be able to get my truck or something. I can move on. But that's not what happened to him. And when you think about the contract, you can see why it didn't happen to him. And this is where business strategies come into place, whether you're leasing your truck with a carrier that you're working with, or you're getting your truck from outside of a carrier. Excuse me there. One of the things that's important is understanding your insurance. When we signed that lease, and said OTR is the beneficiary, and that it was $60,000 value. And if you understand the beneficiary, that's who the money goes to. So in his situation, he totals his truck out before he pays off the truck. So technically, he still doesn't own the truck. And OTR is still the beneficiary as well as the owner of the truck still. So when the truck gets totaled out and the insurance company pays the money out, they're going to give the money to the beneficiary. And I understood where he was coming from, figuring that he only got $9,000 left. They'll just take the $9,000 maybe the 5,000 for the payout. I know that's how mine was 5,000 on the payout, and then you get the title and stuff. So hopefully that's what his was still on, and I'm just sticking to the facts of what I know of what the general contract says. Um, and he should have probably got the rest of the money. That's how he naturally feels. But what a beneficiary means. That means that's who's going to receive the funds. And from there, they don't owe you anything. And that's the sad part of what happened there, is that they didn't owe him anything. And he felt like they did, and they should have gave him, the portion. And I definitely understood where he was coming from, and I get it. But from a business standpoint, they're probably not legally obligated to give you anything. Because they're the beneficiaries up to 60,000. But this is where I don't want to harp on the hard feelings in, and I'm hoping he get a chance to see this video, because we don't want to harp on the hard feelings of they did me wrong. What we want to do is learn from the experience and then see how important strategies are. And one of the things, when you look at a strategy, what could he have done better in this situation? And I ran into the same issue myself, only completing the lease out, but then having to make a tough decision to keep the truck and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, it was so much a headache. I just felt like it was better not to even try to keep the truck. But at the same time, I know what the strategy should have been. After year 2, I should have paid that truck off. And then when I look at his example, he's ran into the same thing. He should have put some money to the side for the next 2 years, to have the money, so that instead of going into year 3 still paying on that truck, he should have had the money saved up for year 3 and paid in cash, and just bought his whole lease out, paid cash for the whole lease, paid the $5,000 that he would have needed for the buyout part, got the title. And if the same accident happens, instead of them being the beneficiary on his insurance policy, he would have received the 36,000. So then he would have received the blessing of the accident. Not saying accidents are good, because I don't know any information regarding the accident. Hopefully nobody was hurt. As hopefully he's not physically hurt or anything. And hopefully he's not going through anything like that, and he's maybe just dealing with the mental aspect of getting comfortable and coming back out on the road, which is not easy for anyone, depending on how bad the accident was. I definitely have a friend out here that was on the road who was in a really horrible accident, and had anything truly detrimental happen to him, I maybe not being a driver at this present moment myself. But with that said, I'm hoping everything is okay with him. I know the feeling that he's dealing with, for his feeling like they could have gave me the money, but I think that's a friendship mindset. It's not a business mindset if you look at how it all works. They're the beneficiary of our lease on our insurance policies, and that means they receive up to 60 grand anytime that truck is still theirs and is not in our possession, and we don't own it at that time. So to reiterate, what I'm saying is that it's important to have a strategy when you buying a truck. And if you're not the beneficiary, and there's a requirement that you have to give over your beneficiary rights when you obtaining the equipment, you want to have a strategy in place to get render your rights back to you. And that's what's very important there, is making sure we come up with a strategy to make sure that our rights are back. Because even on the insurance policy, if he would have paid for the truck and then he doesn't go and change his insurance policy, it's possible OTR still would have got that money. And that's why it's very important to be focused on the paperwork, um, so that you can be having your business structured right and having things set up right. So when you do, remember, make sure you're the beneficiary of your policies once you're in ownership of the truck. And that's where his strategy was, just to pay the truck off. And unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to achieve that goal. You know what I'm saying? And I encouraged him that no work is done without a profit. There is something truly to learn there, uh, that should be able to benefit him if he can get away from the emotional loss, which is not as easy as said as done. But that's my encouragement to him, to focus on the business side. Hopefully, he's physically capable of getting back out on the road. I have met plenty of gentlemen who've had really bad accidents where they was falling off cliffs, severely damaged their trucks, and they got back out on the road and they're running again. Um, so for some, we can get back out here. I even just recently met a gentleman who was running teams with his brother, and had a really bad accident, and it took him about a year to find someone to let him come back on, and give him an opportunity to get back on the road and take care of his family and take care of himself, as a truck driver. You know what I'm saying? Somebody finally gave him an opportunity. And that's why, safety is so important out here, because, it's a blink of an eye. At any moment, while we're out here on the road, it can change. So make sure you're always aware of your surroundings. You're always paying attention. You're trying to eliminate the distractions as much as possible so that you can be alert on the road for any possible dangers. And that's my encouragement, that just to be focused with your paperwork, have a good strategy. If you give up some of your rights, make sure you understand that you got a strategy in place to try to get them back as fast as possible. I still like OTR. It's unfortunate what happened to him. I felt his loss. I really did, because I know I would have felt the same. But when you look at the business side, I would have still understood maybe why I'm not receiving anything. And that would have been a hard pill to swallow, if that would have ever happened. You know what I'm saying? But what I did learn from there is that importance of having a strategy, executing on your strategy, and so that you can get all your rights back, in case something do happen. You're not at a total loss. And that's what unfortunately happened to him, is that he lost his truck. Hopefully he did have something saved up. He was able to get another truck back. At a later time, he'll be able to get another truck or something. If he didn't have anything saved up, that's definitely unfortunate. It can happen with the repairs, different things. You just never know where he was getting his freight from. But that's definitely something that I know I dropped the ball myself on. I didn't execute in that regards to being able to pay the truck off at year 2. Going into year 3, I did have that thought. I remember having that thought. I didn't execute that part of the plan. And I just wrote it all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Even though, and like I said, the truck had a plethora of issues. And it was definitely unfortunate. And like I said, I still would have had to leave that truck parked, from a safety standpoint. You know, and I wouldn't have felt comfortable just putting it on the road just to try to make some money. Because you don't want your truck to break down mechanically wise and cause an accident. And at that time, I understood all the work that needed to be done to get that truck in a more comfortable, because it's definitely nerve wracking when you don't know when your truck's gonna break down, and it can break down at any moment. Um, so you have to make those tough calls if you want to be one of the best out here. Safety has to be your number one priority while you're in the vehicle. That has to be number one, over profits. Safety is always number one, because if you take care of the safety aspect of running, uh, that ensures your profits. That increases your profits. Um, and as we're learning, when you have a big company behind you, it doesn't even matter. As the Warner driver, we learned from the Warner driver who was driving in, I wouldn't think say he was going westbound in Texas. Someone lost control from the other side of the highway going 20 east, and he was still found liable. And we all understand that there's no way that driver should have ever been found liable for what happened. Unfortunately, what happened to that family and them losing control of their vehicle, hitting the truck driver. We all knew it wasn't his fault. Why did it play out in the courtroom that way? Only God knows. Um, Definitely, you always will look at that situation and think maybe those attorneys who was representing Warner should have did a better job. But at the same time, I mean, I know how tough that has to be when someone loses their loved ones and they're looking for an answer. And just accepting that they are the ones that maybe are at fault is a hard pill for us all to swallow. Um, and it's just one of those things that's just tough, and you feel for that family that was severely hurt in that situation. So, God bless to everyone out there. When you on that road, Christmas coming up, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. You know what I'm saying? This is all thing business. Please, if you like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button. We're going to be focused on business on this content of trucking specifically, but we're going to help other business owners and other businesses as well. But the sole focus will be about the trucking industry, and we want to just help owner operators succeed in this industry. This is definitely the best industry in the world, all day, hands down. Um, and just if you like this content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Until the next episode, I'm working on some episodes coming up soon that I know will be beneficial to your structure part of you setting up your business, because that's your foundation is definitely important. So man, just see y'all soon. God bless. I say, whoo! All things business, baby. Checking you out the next time. God bless.